So hello, today this is a slightly different video to what I normally do. This is for a lady called Nancy Harrington who used to live here, and she's now 98, lives in America. And from my understanding, the last time she was here was 70 years ago. So she's in a care home and she's able to watch this video on YouTube basically, and she actually uses a headset. Now her grandson, who lives in America, he's going to help her with this. So I'm going to just walk through the village and talk about the pub that she worked at. So I'm going to concentrate on the buildings that were here during the war. So it's a very busy village. Oh, I say busy, it's a typical Essex village. A lot of history, but there is a fair bit of traffic that comes through. But you can see a lot of these buildings here have not really changed. The two in front are more recent, obviously. Now, grandson told me that Nancy worked in two of these pubs during World War II, and she had then met somewhere along the line an American soldier, and this is how she's ended up living in America now. So Nancy, I hope you enjoy this video and it brings back some fond memories. Now, funny enough, I did meet two ladies at a bus stop, which is just up there, and I was explaining what I was doing, and one of the ladies said that she actually knew of you. She knew that you'd come back here 70 years ago, and she'd actually also married a Harrington, but she explained you're not related. I find it fascinating. So here's the old pub, the Checkers. Now I've got a feeling that this pub is not being used for now, not anymore anyway. So I'm not sure of its status, but I've got some history on it from a book. So I'm going to sit down and just read you what the book says. Okay, so I'm going to set my camera up here. And I shall explain to you what's happening. Right, so the book itself is this. Let's see if I can focus on that. So it's a pub crawl around Essex, and the book, it lists 138 pubs, and it basically explains the history. So it's a pretty good pub, a pretty good book. Now, I'm going to read you what it says about them. Here we have it. Now, the Checkers, Roxwell. So it says, originally built in the 17th century, the Checkers has since that time been considerably altered and added to. It was first mentioned by the name in 1715. It was formed part of the estate of Francis Perry, and he left it to his wife Margaret, and thereafter it went to his grandson William Nash. In 1770 it was an ale house, and the Thomas Milbank was the licensee then. By 1824 Thomas Gower was in charge. We move forward to 1896, and Henry Earnshaw moved in. He became landlord. He had his wife and 4 children. He was also acting as a clerk to the parish council, and he was an excellent batsman for the cricket team. It also says that the vicar at the time was a batsman of near county quality standard. It says in 1929, Frederick he'd moved in and took over as landlord, and he stayed until 1958, and he was there basically 60 years of service by the same family. So I guess in World War II, yes, it's Henry Earnshaw in 1929, and his son Frederick took over. So the Earnshaw family were running this business. Just after his father had run the business during World War One, so did Frederick run it through the Second World War. During this conflict, the village blacksmith acted as air raid warden and was based here because there was no telephone on site. Later in the war, the Home Guard was stationed at the Chequers, and every night 4 men reported here for duty, armed and in uniform, and they stood ready to repel German invasion. Following Frederick's death in 1958, his widow stayed a further 5 years until 1963, when Thomas Brewer became the new landlord. By this time the pub had been sold by the Russell's Brewery, and it had become part of the Truman estate. And if you look, just put the book away. Let's have a look around at the village. So if you look here, they're indeed the Truman Brewery Company. So we're going to walk forward now. So I'm only going to concentrate on the properties that are basically would have been in World War II. So there's the pub. Maybe recognise this, Nancy. This is it's now the Roxwell village store. Maybe it wasn't when you were here. Don't know. It's now springtime, approaching springtime, and the temperature here is rising rapidly. By Wednesday, we're going to have 18 degrees. This in front, I guess, is the hall, or a new version of it that would have gone back in history with a church. And Nancy and American fiance were married here in World War II, at the end of it actually, 1945, Victory in Europe Day. And the church rang its bells the first time since the beginning of World War II. So can you imagine that? This must have been a massive event for the villagers here. Great euphoria. Let's cross over here. Now Nancy and her husband, they actually came back here, I believe 70 years ago. Let's just walk through here. It's quite amazing the technology that's available now. You can post this online and somebody can actually access it and watch it through a headset in a nursing home in America. It's quite incredible. I'll have a look at this lovely reredos they got here. As you know, I'm a big fan of all things churches. Let's have a look at the stained glass window itself. Beautiful. Right. Probably hear my squeaky shoes. Right, we'll go at this side. It's very nice that some of the churches are kept open for people if they wish to do private prayer or just visit, as I do. Right. It's very nice. We'll say one thing, that Nancy's 98. She's the most impressive age. The Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth II, 95. And soon she's to have her 96th birthday. So we'll walk up here a bit. And the country are going to get ready for the celebrations. There's going to be a huge amount going on in London and across the country. There'll be trees planted and plaques. There'll be parks named after it and all kinds of things going on. There'll be music events, there'll be a lot of things going on. So Queen is an amazing lady. Beautiful church. So you can see they've just recently put a new tiled roof on it. I believe the villagers have been raising money to pay for this. Keep the old church going for a few more years. Yep. Although I've never met the Queen in person, I've actually received 2 letters from her, believe it or not, or 2 replies to letters. I was very lucky. And I did meet, well, get very close to Lady Diana, actually, before she got married. And I used to work in London. My father said, I think there's that Lady Diana, she's at the nearby hospital, which was St Bartholomew's. And so he said, go and have a look down there. So I ran down there, and just as I was approaching, she was coming out of the hospital, out the entrance there. You can see it's a very small village. Looks like in front there's the memorial, Roxwell Memorial Hall. I guess that's where they hold their village events. That'll be, I guess, Zumba classes and exercise classes and so on, and meetings. There you go, there's some information there. Roxwell Parish Council. Certificate of Merit to certify that year 2 2020 it's been looked after. And there you go, the mobile library visits here. And the post office, mobile post office, that's impressive. And here is the sign. Okay, that's a preschool, so I'm not going to photograph that, but and there is the very old building there, and a very old farm as well in the distance. You see it's very quiet now. If we go a little further, you can see the countryside opens up. And this will be the post box. So not much has changed here actually. Right, I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you very much.